How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Town of Salem. This is PipeTron. Today, we're going to be discussing the upcoming Disguiser, Forger, Framer, balance ideas. Without further ado, let's jump right in. So, just to give everyone a quick brief rundown, the previous changes that were put forward last week have been changed. Nothing is final, keep that in mind, and this is what they've amended their changes to. It's still not final. And yeah, just want to keep you guys updated on what they're thinking of next. Leave your opinions below, these are just initial thoughts. So change number 1, Forger. Previously we had discussed the ability for the Disguiser to make a player look like another role on death and clean their will. This had a couple different problems after further discussion and felt like an ability that belonged to the Forger. Fair enough? Our current plan is to allow the Forger to select a fake role for a player that will be displayed on death, and write a fake will for that player. This removes its dependency on other roles to be powerful, and brings it more in line with something like the Janitor. The Forger can remove claim space from town roles, whereas the Janitor will open claim space for Mafia roles. To help compensate for the power of this ability, we are going to bump the number of usable Forgers down to 2 from 3. So these are my initial thoughts on these changes. Essentially what they've done is they've shifted the upcoming Disguiser buffs and they've brought it over to Forger instead. So this is actually even stronger on the Forger right now than the Disguiser. Reason being is because the Forger would have just cleaned their will. In this case, the Forger can actually make a fake will. So Town is really going to have no idea what the hell is actually true or not. No one's going to know if the person that's dead was legit or not. So in the previous video, what I suggested was Mafia can kill off a townie, disguise them as a jester, there's no will, and then Town thinks the Mafia killed off the neutral evil. They go to lynch someone who's acting suspicious, and then whoop-de-doo, the real jester is still in the game, Town gets completely screwed, and Mafia have more claim space. In this case, there's a few more options the Mafia have to work with. So let's say there's like 3 town protect claims, or let's say there's 3 town killing claims, or 2. And they're both arguing saying, I am real, you know, or Town is saying random town 3 is taken, you know, everyone else is bullshit. And then Mafia go ahead and kill off a silent townie and change their role to make them look like a vigilante or a veteran, and then forge the will to make it look legit. They die, and then Town goes, okay, so one of the TK claims that are left are definitely fake. And the Mafia obviously push along, and then they use that to gain majority to do another miss-lynch, and then they win. That's what I think the Forger can do. They can still obviously disguise a dead player to make him look like a jest with a fake will, make it even more legit, and Town truly has no way of knowing. But now they can do it against, you know, random town claims as well. Let me know what you guys think about that. So Disguiser, because their changes have been shifted to Forger instead, they're going to have something completely different. So let's go over that. Alrighty, change number 2, Disguiser. With the previous Disguiser change being given to the Forger, we've continued to discuss ways to improve the Disguiser, and we decided that its ability to change its own investigative results could be applied to other players as well. The Disguiser would become a 2-target role that would choose a player and roll to disguise a Mafia member, including himself, to look like. Okay? So, let's start off with that. 2-target role. Choose a player to disguise a Mafia member, including himself, to look like. So, if the Disguiser dies, I'm assuming that means they're going to show up as what they disguised as. So, for example, if the Disguiser disguises as the sheriff and then dies, they're going to show up as the sheriff. But now it looks like they can do that for another Mafia too. 2 Mafia members could disguise as the sheriff, essentially. Okay, let's continue. A disguised player could visit another player, and it would appear as though the disguiser's first target was the one that did the visiting. Wait. A disguised player could visit another player, and it would appear as though the disguiser's first target was the one that did the visiting. So, if I'm not mistaken, what I think this means is, let's say there's a lookout and there's a jailer, right? let's say the lookout goes on the jailer, and the town protects are dead. And then the mafia kill the jailer, and the lookout sees it. However, the disguiser made the mafioso who killed the jailer look like the sheriff instead. So the lookout is going to see that the sheriff visited the jailer, and they're going to go after the sheriff, and then the sheriff's going to die. That's what I think. If I'm not mistaken, that's what it sounds like. That's pretty overpowered, dude. That's pretty damn strong. Okay, now let's move forward again. The disguiser would have astral visits, which means your visits will not trigger any mechanic that relies on you visiting a player. Not sure what that means. If you disguise yourself as another role, your astral visit takes priority over showing your first target as having visited you. So I've read it a few times. I'm not 100% sure what it means, but I think it just means that it makes it like certain that the disguiser can do what they want to do, and it's very hard for them to be found. I think that's what it means. So I think that's a pretty overpowered change. That's pretty damn strong, dude. So you can have... Dude, lookouts are going to be screwed, and lookouts already nerfed, right? You can have people basically going places and doing things, and they're not even really doing it. It's a mafia who's disguised as someone else. So I reckon that's going to be pretty interesting in ranked. I think lookouts are completely dead now. Like, lookouts are like D tier. It's a terrible town investigative role because, yeah, now you can have people showing up as someone else, and town's really not going to know what to do. Let me know what you guys think about this change in particular. I'm pretty interested in this one. What do you think this means? And also, let me know what it means, like the astral visits thing. I don't think I fully understood that. I feel like this whole paragraph wasn't really worded properly, but yeah, we'll see. Alrighty, change number 3, framer. We are still considering giving the framer semi-permanent frames, meaning the frames would stay until checked by an investigative role. Thank you all for your previous feedback about this change, and if you have any further feedback about this change or any other changes, please let us know. Okay, so looks like they've rolled back some of the framer buffs. Looks like they're getting rid of that, and they're just considering it. So I guess framer may or may not get semi-permanent frames. So those are the upcoming changes. Let me know what you guys think. Have a discussion in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more. I'll see you all next time.